What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. You guys already know what this is. This is the third leg of Woosah Wednesday. This is Greenleaf Season 2, Episode 7, Born to Trouble. Now, we've heard this term many times before. It means different things to different people. But what we are seeing here in this second to last episode of this mid-season is Grace and her family are really all sort of going through it and reflecting about their sister Faith and her suicide, and just we get to see how it has impacted each and every member of this family. Okay, the show opens up and it is a go right from the beginning. Before we get going real good, you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I promise you won't regret it. And give me a thumbs up on this video. Lets me know that you like my content, as well as commenting down below. I like to get involved. I like that you guys get involved. Let's get involved together. Okay, so the show opens up with Grace, and she is in mid-nightmare. Okay, she's in a car, she's being driven, and it is Mac that's driving. And then we see Grace sitting side by side in the back seat with Sophia, and we see Mac driving. And then we see Grace alone in the back seat, and she begins to sort of level up, panic up in the nightmare, and she asks Mac, "What have you done with her? What did you do with her?" And Mac turns around in the dream and says, "What did you do with her?" Okay, and then we see Grace wake up like, you know, this thing is weighing heavy on Grace, be it guilt, be it revenge, be it, you know, family vendetta. This thing is weighing heavy on Grace. Anytime something invades your sleep, your dreams, your peace, your tranquility, it's a problem. Okay, just footnote there. All right, Grace comes down. When she comes out, you can look at her and tell she's not the same bubbly, bouncy Grace type personality. She comes out that tight ponytail like she got something on her mind. Sits down to the dinner table. She speaks to her mama. She speaks to her daddy, and her daddy says, "Your mama is in quite a state coming up on Faith's memorial." And Grace takes a deep breath, and we look over at Lady Mae, and Lady Mae she's got a look on her face. Now, to me, we call it a trouble look down south. She's got a real trouble look on her face. And you know, she, how can I help you, Grace? You know, like, let's not even talk about me. Let's not focus on me, Grace. Let's focus on you. What do you need help with? And she says, I want to know, Grace says, I want to know, are there any funds, anything else out there that Mac used to maybe bribe some people? We need to find someone who can really speak to what he has done. Is there anything else? The daddy don't want to hear it. He is breathing all heavy, and May is the same way. She is just like, listen. You know, ain't but one or two things gonna happen. We can pray that he gets his time in hellfire, okay, and pay for what he's done, or we can pray that the law will convict him and he will pay for what he has done on this earth in an earthly way. And, you know, she alludes to the fact that Mac is very smart and he used worldly ways to get away with his worldly sins. And Grace is like, look, I don't care. It's got to be something. You guys, help me. Please help me. We've got this adjudicated hearing coming up, and I don't, you know, we need something more in order to convict him, in order to put him in jail, right? He's been convicted, but in order to put him in jail. She says, sharper than a serpent's tooth. Sharper is a serpent's tooth than to have a thankless child. I'll be in the car. And she walks off from the table, and Bishop is like, oh. And her father tells her, Grace's father said, do me a favor, at least until after your sister's memorial, can you please knock it off? You know, he wants her to let this whole situation go until after the memorial, you know, just for everybody else's sake. Then we see Bishop getting in the car, and Lady Mae is telling him, if you're gonna try to talk me into reconsidering what I said to Grace, think again. Meanwhile, before he could respond, Mac calls, and she is like, hello, I didn't think you would answer. And she says, what do you want, Mac? And Bishop says, what does that SOB want? And he wants to talk to her. I know it's coming up on the more. Don't you ever bring my child's name up. This is what Lady Mae say. He said, listen, dude, you can't, I don't want you to beat it. Don't do me like that's not right. She said, you still think you didn't do it? He said, you still think I did do it? She hangs up. She's not fit to discuss faith with him, okay? And so Bishop wants to know what he wants, and Lady Mae's like, nothing. Meanwhile, we see in the background back at Mac's house, Lorraine is there. Lorraine is the woman that Grace tried to get stop when she was leaving Mac's apartment before. Grace tried to stop her and warn her about Mac. This is the same woman. And we don't know where she works, but she works in sort of a Walmart, it's like a Walmart-esque vest, right? We see her name on the vest, all of that. She comes out and she says, Mac, is everything okay? Is everything all right? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And she says, I know everything's going to go well. It's going to go fine. And you get rid of all these issues. It's going to be fine. You call me today and let me know after your meeting how everything went. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. She straightens his eye. I don't know what you did before you found me. Gives him a little kiss on the cheek. She goes on out the door. She ain't out the door, I promise you, 1.5 seconds before he wipes that kiss off his face that she gave him. See, Lorraine is just a decoy. That's all Lorraine is. She represents an average American. You don't get more average American than Walmart. And what Mac is trying to look like right now is an average American male citizen. Okay, he doesn't want anything about him to stand out as anything other than average male American male citizen, right? Very smart, very, very cunning. Meanwhile, this woman is in the depths, in the throes of evil, and she has no idea. Okay, so I feel bad for Miss Lorraine. All right. So then we go back to Grace. Grace is talking with, I think it's the prosecutor, and you know, they're sort of lamenting over the fact that it's kind of this, you know, what do they say, patriarchal society where males kind of stick together, and there's not a chance. Now, Mac has been convicted, but he is not going to do any jail time. The judge is not really going to make a decision on this until a couple of weeks from now, I guess, or a couple of days from now, I guess. And so she tells the prosecutor, is that it? Is that all? He just wins? And the prosecutor's like, well, maybe not. She mentions Michaela. Michaela's the girl that lived in Mac's building. Remember when Greenleaf first came on, we saw that he was kind of just starting to woo Michaela. And she gives Grace Michaela's picture and Michaela's address and says, let me know what you find out. The prosecutor doesn't want to go any farther with it because Mac has had some friends of his come and sort of impress upon the fact that she needs to let it all go. So she gives it all to Grace. Give it up to Grace. You do the investigation. Let me know what you come up with, okay? Let's go on down to Jacobs and Skanks, okay? We see Jacobs and Skanks talking with Brittany. And I'm not sure if this is the same Brittany from the beginning where Jacob was kind of having an affair with a girl named Brittany that was at the church that they fired and went over to Skanks' church. I think this is the same person. I'm not sure. And so she's saying we need an infusion of cash. We need to do something about money. We're having a hard time. And Skank says, okay, well, thank you for letting me know. And she says, maybe if we can let the crews go, talking about over at Triumph 2. And absolutely not. Skanks doesn't want to do it. This is all about faith. We're going to have to, we only have a week left on this thing. We can ride it out. Meanwhile, we need to scrounge and scratch the way Saints do. And Jacob's like, what way is that? You know, he thinking he mean gambling. And Skanks is like, we don't talk about that out loud. Prayer. All right. And so Brittany says, I'm so sorry to give you guys this bad news. I know how hard you both work. And then she gets up and leaves. She says, Pastor Jacob. And Jacob says, Brittany, Sister Brittany. And Skanks kind of catches a little bit, a little something, a little something. And so he gets up and hurries and is walking behind Brittany to get the dough. And gives her a little touch on the small of her back. Inappropriate. I grew up in church, y'all. I know all the many ways men can be inappropriate. All right. It can be very, very difficult to prove that somebody is lecherous in the church, especially if everybody is on board with it. So I can see how Mac is getting away with this. I really, really can, especially with Lady Mae and Bishop not wanting to put their all in helping because they have a vested interest in letting it all die. All right. So I'm sorry, I just went off on a little bit of tangent there. I hate handsy men. I don't like handsy men. It's a way that makes women feel so fucking uncomfortable when you put your hands on me like that. I don't like it. Why would you put me in this position where I gotta check you and then be at the scrutiny of everybody? Like, it's a sore spot for me, you guys. It's a sore
when
spot.
He walks Brittany to the door,
he asked Jacob, he said, what do you think about that girl? And Jacob was like, I don't know. What should I think? And Skanks is like, yeah, let's move on. Jacob is saying, why can't we do this? Why can't we just let Triumph 2 go? Work on what we have here with Triumph 1. Build that up. Skanks is like, no, we don't need to do all that. He says, what I need you to do is have faith and don't ask me about this again. Wow. Have some faith. Skanks is setting up this really, really great game. This is how he intends to resolve this. Bass Reeves is going to be there tonight, and Bass Reeves does not lose. And the moment he says that, we already know that Bass Reeves is going to lose, okay? Because it's this type of cockiness that is just plump, full of loser. It's inevitable, right? Okay. So let's go to Charity and Kevin. Charity and Kevin, they're signing their divorce papers, and he signs them, she signs them, and he says, you happy now? And she says no, and she's got the sad face, and she walks out. And Kevin instantly, on his face, you can tell he regrets making that comment. Kevin is just a really, really nice guy. Then we see Charity in her office, and Bishop comes in. He's got a package. It turns out it's her CDs. The cover is a beautiful cover, and I think the name of the CD is called Hold Me Close. And in the background, the lake is there. This is the same lake that Faith killed herself in. So she now instantly looking at the photo, and it being the eve of Faith's death, is acutely aware of the fact that this is the lake, and should we change it? And Bishop says no, there's plenty of sites on this earth that have been the site of tragedy, okay? And I think it's a fitting tribute. Can I keep this CD? And she's like, yeah, please take 2. And so he gets up to walk out. Now, mind you, I'm thinking to myself, well, he's not gonna say anything about her divorce. So she says, Daddy, I'm divorced. And he goes to hug her, and she says, Daddy, why does everything have to go wrong? And he says, the sparkle. And she says, what? The sparkle. It's the sparkle in the diamond that denotes how many flaws. It's the flaws in the diamond that denotes the sparkle. And he says, right now, from where I look, you're shining brighter than ever. And she says, thank you, Daddy. It's what she needed to hear. And she's very emotional. It's good to have a hug from her daddy. It gives her an opportunity to release some of that pressure that she's feeling about what she has just gone through, okay? And so he walks on out. Then we see Grace, and Grace is now at Mac's old building, and she is checking it out. She gets to talk to the lady who's at the front desk there, and the lady at the front desk is really, really not having it. She's not trying to give out any information, but Grace appeals to her softer side. He did these horrible things to my sister, caused her to kill herself. I just want to make sure that this girl is okay. And finally, the woman concedes and says she gets in at 4 o'clock. So Grace sits down and decides she's gonna wait. We see Mac's downtown, and he's waiting on someone. Up walks the deputy mayor. He's right behind the deputy mayor. The deputy mayor never stops his footsteps as he passes Mac. Mac is right behind him. They walk alongside. They exchange an envelope. Evidently, Mac has been paying this deputy mayor to make things happen within the system that ensures that although Mac has been convicted, he does not get any jail time. All right? And so, Mac also wants one more thing as the guy's trying to walk off. You can tell he doesn't like Mac. He finds Mac deplorable, and Mac says, I need a job. He says, good, I think you need a job too. Go out and get one. And Mac says, maybe I'll get a job at the let's say SEC, it was FEC, PEC, something like that, a commission, who maybe they want to know a little bit more about how you guys got y'all money up together for y'all campaign. And the guy's like, what do you want me to do? He says, I just need something to get some income coming in. The money I gave you is the last of my savings. And the guy's like, let me see what I can do. All right. Okay, then we go back to Charity and Kevin. Charity is leaving the building for the day, and she sees that Kevin is there, and she stops in to talk to Kevin and be real friendly. Now, forget the fact that we just signed our divorce papers. Kevin trying to find an apartment, all right? He said he's living in a hotel right now, so he's a little short-tempered. And she is just, he's not my sweet, dear friend anymore. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. No, he isn't, because you let your mama and your daddy take the claws out on him. You didn't protect him. You didn't protect him as your friend or as your husband. Yeah, he's a little short with you. Still, Kevin tries to pull back a little bit. He apologizes. He understands it's the eve of Faith's death, and he's just not that type of individual. She says, well, I thought you could come to the memorial. And he says, I don't think so. And she said, why wouldn't you? And he said, why would I? After what you did to me around here, I don't even know that I belong here. She said, well, are you thinking about quitting? He said, not at the moment, but it's definitely in the forefront of my mind. And she's like, well, I guess I can understand. Will you at least hang out with Nathan while we go down to the graveside? And he says, sure, I'd love to do that. And he apologizes again. Again, he is way more of a kinder, nicer, more decent human being to me than Charity is. And in my opinion, where Charity is concerned, all roads, no matter the topic of conversation, lead back to Charity somehow. She's an extremely selfish individual. Then we see Grace. Grace is waiting for Michaela. And she's also, at the same time, looking at her phone, and she's reading an article that Nash has put out about the mayor and the Riverfront Task Force. Okay? Put a pin in that. I think that's going to be pivotal in next half of this season. All right? In comes the young lady, and Grace makes her intros, says who she is. And she said, that's the place where Mr. McCready used to work. And Grace said, yes, I'd like to talk to you about Miss Creedy. She said, am I in trouble? She said, no, of course not, darling. Come over here. Let's sit down. Let's talk. So they get to talking, and she's telling Grace about he gave her books to read, and he gave her money sometime, and how her mom was a little bit off. Evidently, her mom was like bipolar or whatever. And she takes different meds. And Grace is like, okay, all of that stuff. But did he ever do anything inappropriate? She was like, what do you mean? Did he ever touch you in any kind of way of inappropriate? She was like, why do you ask me that? And Grace was like, well, he's been in the paper. He's been arrested. You know about that. And she said, yes, she read it in the paper. And she said, but he didn't get convicted. And Grace said, yes, he did. He's not doing any jail time. She said, but if he did something to you, we can come together and put him away for good, so he won't hurt anybody else. And the girl swears up and down, although with trepidation, that Mac has not done anything to her. And she's almost a little bit defensive, as though she's insulted that someone would come and discuss Mac in this way with her. All right? Okay? She's obviously Team Mac. Can I go now? Grace says yes. She gets on out of the car. Grace was extremely nice to her. She wasn't too pushy or anything. Grace breaks down in the car. Meanwhile, we see Mac. Mac's at his computer, and Mac is looking at flowers online. Michaela calls him up and tells him about Grace. Grace just called me. I mean, she didn't say Grace, but this woman came to see me, and this is what I told her. It was no big deal. You were always very nice. Did I do okay? And he says, yes, you did. Thank you for telling me. And she says, yeah. And she goes into this conversation about her mom. Her mom changed. He asked, how is your mom? And, being cordial. And slick. And the girl starts telling about her mom changing medicines and all of that, and it's cool, and she can't wait to graduate. It's still a hard time there at the house. In walks Lorraine from her shift at the Walmart, okay? And he's still on the phone with Michaela. And Michaela's just going on and on and on and on. He puts the finger up to Lorraine, and then, and Lorraine stands there and listens, because she suspects something. She don't know, but she watching. She got a good eye on shit, right? And so, just hold on a minute, and then and Michaela keeps talking, and he says, yeah, well, great. I'll get right on that. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. Hangs up. Who was that? That was my lawyer. Just some loose end kind of things. Meanwhile, Michaela's on the other end like, okay. She's trying to figure out why he can't talk to her and comfort her and be her good friend anymore, because he's not trying to get your booty right now. But the minute he's trying to get your booty, he's going to want to hear everything you got to say as a way to try to hurt you in the most horrible way possible, ma'am. Run run in the other direction. This guy's a predator, okay? Meanwhile, he closes the computer down so that Lorraine can't see that he's ordering flowers. When she goes to change for dinner, he pulls the computer back up. He's going to send some flowers, right? I wonder for what. Okay, so then we see Skanks and Jacob. And they're coming down the steps to this room where they're going to play to gamble. And Skanks is telling Jacob, just be zen, be calm, be cool, baby. Just be cool, baby. Just be cool. Meanwhile, the deputy sheriff is coming in a lower door, and he's got 2 other guys with him, 2 big black men with him. And the deputy mayor and Skanks are kidding and laughing and talking and going on. Well, he sends Skanks on. He sends the 2 guys he came in with on, and he wants to talk to Jacob for a second. Jacob, can I talk to you for a minute? Jacob's like, hey, sure. He says that, yeah, I saw your uncle earlier today. And he was like, yeah, okay, all right. This is how Jacob was like, okay, okay. And he says, yeah, he's really trying to turn his life around. Jacob was like, okay. And so he says he wanted me to get him a job. Jacob's like, don't do that. And the guy's like, why? Why not? It's the Christian thing to do. He said, I know, but don't do that. And the guy said, okay, I don't understand. Why can't I do it? And Jacob just hems him up, got him up. He said, listen, I have to drive past the lake every day when my sister committed suicide and killed herself because of what that stinking bastard did to her. I don't care if he's on fire. You better not even lend him a cup of piss to put it out. Do I make myself clear? Oh, the guy is like, what the food? What just happened here? Okay. And then he throws the guy. Now, you can tell when somebody black out in anger. When they black out in anger, they don't realize a couple of things. Well, number 1, this is deputy mayor. Number 2, your anger is so much bigger. It's so much more alarming than the situation. And 3, you got to go play poker with this man right now. And you just hemmed him up. Like, get yourself together. And you can see Jacob is just kind of like, see, it's affecting everybody in a different way, okay? Then we see Bishop and Lady May. Bishop and Lady May are looking at some pictures. And they commiserating. Coming up on the anniversary of Faith's death, right? They commiserating and talking. Gigi comes in. She's had a long day. Things have not gone the way she wanted. She just want to go upstairs and lay down and put her feet up and just take her mind off shit, okay? They want her to come in and look at pictures. She good. She doesn't want to do that, okay? Of course, they keep pressing. And she's just like, I cannot. I am so at my freaking wit's end. Like, she is just like, I can't do any more tonight. I'm sorry. And she gets ready to go upstairs, and Lady May is just, how dare you, Grace Louise Teresa Greenleaf. She just is so demonstrative, right? How dare you try to walk off and I'm talking, you don't turn your back on me. And how do you presume to even know what these ladies have gone through, what Faith went through, what I went through, what these girls you were trying to get to testify against Mac has gone through. What do you, you don't have any idea what they have endured. And Faith, Grace, I thought she was just going to lose it. She was like, Mother, what have you ever endured? And it is like a moment where Lady May, it kind of clutches her pearl. She comes to herself because she realized a little bit of underneath that mask is showing in this moment. Yeah, tell us all what you have to endure. See, because you lumping yourself with these people because you yourself have been violated. You yourself has been violated by a predator, your own daddy. You know what the hell's going on, and you testifying and telling about what is happening could bring this family together. But instead of you doing that, you put your mask on and you go and sit back down and look at them pictures and dismiss Grace. She instantly feels her mom's energy shift in a way that makes her uncomfortable, makes her a little girl again. And she says, I'll just go ahead and sit down and look at him. And Lady May say, never mind, I'm empty. I have no more argument in me. Go. Y'all saying the same thing, Lady May. Grace came in the door saying, I don't have it. I don't have nothing. I have no joy, no cheer, no smile, no nothing to give anyone. I am completely empty. I need to go and lay this body down. And you are saying the same thing. The weight of everything that's going on, the constantly bickering is wearing Lady May out too. You can't keep up with this vicious persona and it not take a toll on you, okay? You guys are saying the same things. I don't know why they can't come together as a family. It drives me nuts. All right. Okay, so then we go back to Skanks and Jacob. They at the game, okay? And he boasting and they drinking and they smoking and they laughing and they, putting in the big money, $10,000. He's winning $10,000 at a time, $10,000. And Jacob is out and one of the big black men is out and the deputy mayor is out and they got a random white guy there, he's out. And so just him and this other guy. And the guy puts in $100,000. And Skanks is like, hey, no big deal. I mean, he is Bass Reeves, of course. So what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go all in too. What does he do? It puts all the cards down. Boom, boom, boom. What you going to do about these kings and queens? What you going to do? And the guy was like, I think I'm going to win the game. Puts the cards out there, wins the whole kid and caboodle. You can see all of the blood, all of the life, all of the energy rush right out of Skanks' face. And for a moment there, for a brief moment, he looks like a normal, regular human being. Meanwhile, let's go back to Mac and Lorraine. They coming in from dinner. They laughing and talking and kidding. He goes in the bathroom to check his phone. When he goes in the bathroom to wash his hands, the phone rings. When his phone makes a beeping noise. She hears the beep and she's like, She goes to check on the phone. Looks on the phone and it says, Mom is tripping. Can I stay with you tonight? She goes right into the bathroom with the phone and said, who is this? And he's like, what are you talking about? Who is this? And he was like, well, let me see. You ain't got to touch it. You got eyes. You can see. Who is it? Well, that's my niece. That's Sophia. She knows her mama is coming down against me and it's wrong and it's not right. And she is sympathizing with me. And so did we talk. You talk to your niece on the phone? Of course I do. I talk to all my nieces. Are you kidding me? And she's just like, oh. And he said, you're just so beautiful when you jealous. What you are is stupid. You stupid when you dumb. Girl, that's your inner man. That's your inner spirit telling you warning, warning, danger, danger. Don't fall for it, Lorraine. Keep digging. Okay, so then we go back to the game and we figure out they leaving and Skanks' countenance is different. He don't have that same pimp walk. He ain't walking in the same way. He is just a little bit more downtrodden. And Jacob says, he tells Jacob, I'm going to get your money back. Jacob said, listen, I lost my money fair and square. I already know what's going on with the game. I know what it was. And he said, but let me ask you a question. Was that the church's money? And Skanks says, it definitely was. It definitely was. You spiraling, Skanks. You are spiraling. Okay? Bishop is up late. Lady Mae's asleep and he's up late. He's contemplating. He's going over things in his mind. We see Charity. She got little Nathan in the rocking, in his room in the rocking chair, and she rocking him off to sleep. Real sweet. We also see Grace. She in Faith's room and she picks up Faith's Bible and opens the Bibles up and she finds a picture of her and Faith there, and she tells Faith how much she misses her and how much she loves her. Okay, next morning we see Carissa and Jacob and they had breakfast and they, Carissa's haggling with Zora about going to get her little brother dressed, and she sees Jacob and Jacob's a little heavy laden, and she sits down and she says, tell me something good about Faith. And he tells her a story about how he was having trouble in baseball and Faith told him he can do it. You're my big brother, you can do anything you put your mind to. And Carissa says, I agree, let's get dressed. Okay, they get dressed. Then we see Bishop. And Bishop is outside, and they are all gathered around. Lady Mae is looking real Coretta Scott King, and Bishop is looking real MLK, baby. I mean, this looks like every black family you have ever seen on the back of a church fan. All right, it's real picturesque. Okay, and he is talking about we missed some signs and all the signs you miss in this situation, and going forward we need to all be more open and more courageous to speak out and to say things. Really, Bishop? Really? And show kindness. Really, Bishop? Really? Oh, mother. Hypocrite. Okay. Meanwhile, in the house, Kevin is there with baby Nathan, and he just happens to be strolling by Aaron's room, and Aaron's up there watching the game, and he got papers all spread out, and Kevin is like, hey, just wandering up around this hall, I thought I heard something. Is that the Carolina Panthers practice team playing? Oh, so Tar Heels. And come on in. You won't sit down and watch the game. And so they sit there, and Kevin is looking at him, and Aaron is looking at Kevin, and Kevin is looking at Aaron, and Aaron is looking at Kevin, and little Nathan is there absorbing it all in. Kevin now realizes that he is attracted to Aaron and that he is getting a little bit of a family knows family vibe from Aaron. Okay, so we see the family walking back from the grave site, and Bishop and Lady Mayor in the front. And then we see Carissa and Jacob, and then lagging behind is Zora, and then behind Zora is Sophia and Grace. Sophia runs up to Zora and just tries to talk to her about the birthday and everything that went wrong, and I'm sorry, and can we just talk? And Zora's playing her for dust, right? Okay, isolation. This is how it happens. You isolate the weak one from the herd. That's what's happening with Zora. And so Zora's so dry. It's cool, it's fine, we great. And she runs on, and you know, Sophia's just like, her and Grace walk on. Okay, then we see back at the house, they all sit down for dinner. Marisol has put together a beautiful spread for everybody, set the table real nice. It makes Lady May real happy, and they notice there's some flowers there. Grace pulls the card out, and she sees who the flowers are from, and she tears off out the house. I'll be back. And she pulls off. She don't even take her own that dad burn car. She takes security car and peels off. All right. And Sophia's standing on the steps looking. The flowers are from Mac, and Grace can't take it no more. Okay, she's out of there. She's on her way to see Mac about something. All right. Okay, so that is Greenleaf, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Next week is the mid-season finale, which means this season will continue at some other point. I'm not sure when, but I am here for it. I want to know what's going on with this mayor situation. I want to know what Skanks is going to do about this whole church and money situation. This thing is going to come to a head in a real bad way. But more than anything, I would like to see Grace take a win on this whole Max situation. Maybe him not go to jail, but maybe she can strike a real good solid blow to let him know that she is not one to be played with. She means doggone business. I pray, Lord Jesus, that you would touch the heart of the Greenleaf Bishop and Lady May, okay, that they will come to themselves, and the things that they're saying out of their mouth, they begin living. You know, kindness, courageous, speaking up, and not ignoring the signs. That would be great, okay? So, see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to hit that subscribe button down below. Come on now, it don't cost you nothing. Come on and be a part of my tribe. I would love it, okay? Give me that thumbs up. That's just our cherry on top. And comment down below. What did you guys think about this episode? Until next time, honeybees. Mwah!